Welcome to The Real Heal, a show featuring real, raw, and authentic conversations between experts in the holistic health space. This is your chance to be a fly on the wall, listening to a 100% organic, unscripted chat about topics in the holistic health world that most aren't even talking about. And believe me, we are holding nothing back. I am your host, Dr. Renee Wallenstein, also known as the Libidoologist, double board certified doc, entrepreneur, as well as healthcare disruptor. I have navigated the traditional world of medicine in overcoming my own personal health obstacles, and I had to take matters into my own hands when the system was failing me. Now, I'm shaking things up and sharing my message while collaborating with other experts in my holistic health community to bring you answers to your burning questions about not only getting well naturally, but sustaining that newfound good health. Each week, I will bring you an expert guest, and we will address not only the physical components of optimal health, but also the mental and spiritual influences that will set you up for a long life of limitless energy, self-confidence, and joy so you can get the real heal for good. So if you're ready, let's get into it. All right, hopefully we are just about live. Just getting everything situated here. We are live. Hopefully you can hear me. Yep. It looks like my microphone's working. I'm going to do what I usually do. Yep. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. We're here. So, I wanted to pop on today. Happy Monday to continue our weight loss 101 series as requested by y'all. And, today I want to talk about 4 tips on how to start the weight loss process for once and for good. For once and for good. For once and for all. I was like, that just doesn't sound right. And if you missed last week's lives, they're under the guides section. And we talked about the 7 reasons why you might be gaining weight or why you're not losing weight. And the one thing, again, coming out of those 2 trainings that I want to just reinforce is that even if you have all 7 as a reason why, doesn't mean that it's never going to happen for you. Okay. And that's a part of it, part of something we're going to talk about today. So how do you even start the weight loss process? I know there's been multiple times where I've had a solid 20 pounds of weight to lose, if not more. Actually, I gained 65 pounds in my pregnancy. For those that don't know, I had a twin pregnancy, used it as an excuse to eat for 3. I had twins, so 2 plus 1. And I have to say, and plus I was at bed rest from 29 weeks on, which did not help because I was up until 29 weeks when I went into preterm labor. I was very active. I was still going to the gym on the treadmill, obviously, modifying my activity, but I still was pretty active, in which that also kept my stress level down and kept me doing something other than sitting on the couch eating. When I went into preterm labor and was put at bed rest and taken out of work, a couple things happened. Number 1, I was no longer active. Number 2, I was stressed. I'm not going to lie. Like, I had 2 little babies in me, and I know what happens potentially to 29-week babies when they're born prematurely. So, and plus it was summer. It was June, July, August, or actually May, June, July. I delivered in July. Gained 65 pounds. That was just one time. Another time I obviously broke my back. That was 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now, almost 11. And most recently last year, and I'm still in the process of losing some extra weight that I do not want to be carrying around, but I've changed some things that I'm doing. And I want to share them with you today because these are all things I personally am doing. Okay. I'm one I've dieted my entire life. If you don't know my story, I actually grew up in a dieting household. My mom tried the next best diet every other week. So I had it in my mind. Number 1, as a woman, I always had a diet to keep my weight down. Number 2, I had a question like, why aren't these diets working? Because my mom always seemed to gain the weight back. She would actually do beautifully on the diet. She could do anything for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it took, or as long as the food was getting delivered to the house in a box. But as soon as that stopped, something happened. And so again, I just was of this mentality that I'm just going to have to diet for the rest of my life. And then last year happened. Last year in 2022 was probably the worst year since my injury in 2012. And I say that it was the worst and the best year because I had the most amazing breakthroughs last year that I've ever had in my entire life. But what I figured out is that, I used to be able to employ the 3, dieting strategies and lose 5-10 pounds like that. And again, it may have not been real weight. It was probably water weight, right? But that stopped working for many reasons last year. I had surgery. I had hip surgery unexpectedly. I was in, there's something to be said for chronic pain and how that makes you feel as far as taking care of yourself. I was doing an incredible amount of travel when I wasn't recovering from surgery, with my daughter. And, and then we had a major move. My kids started a new school, all the things. So now I'm had to move from a house to an apartment. So last year was incredibly stressful. And there were many times where I was like, I just can't do that whole dieting thing. I just can't do it. And if you, again, don't know my whole story, I was a bodybuilder in 2016 and 2017. For me, bodybuilding was, I had lost probably 20 pounds after I broke my back. And I did it not crash dieting at all, exercise but I was measuring and all the things. And what I have to say is that bodybuilding for me was, okay, I lost this 20 pounds. I have muscle, which I really had never cherished before. I did love muscle, but all of a sudden I loved muscle. And for me, it was, and I'm still to this day like this, you tell me I can't, I'll show you I can. That's been my whole life. That's my motto my whole life. They said I couldn't go to medical school, went to medical school. They said I couldn't be an OBGYN. I'm an OBGYN, right? All the things they said I couldn't do, broke my back, right? You'll never, exercise again like you used to. And granted, I couldn't, but I was of that mentality of, I will show you that even with a broken back, I can get up there on stage and win an award. And I did. I got my pro card. 7 awards, 7 trophies, got my pro card, all the things. But here's the thing. That was the most extreme dieting I've ever done in my life. And that, I don't want to say ruined me for life, but that ruined me for life. That level of intensity, when I think of dieting now, I think of that level of intensity, which I know is not logical. But last year I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. I can't be so restricted. You guys have to understand, I gave up so much, and this isn't about me. I'm sorry, I'm making this so much about me, but I gave up so much time with my family. And again, my family's we very much like sitting around the dinner table, eating food and talking. Food for us is very social. And that was taken away. Also taken away was, quality time with my kids, because I was at the gym 3 hours a day, right? So for me last year, when I was like, I have weight to lose, but I can't go back to that extreme. I can't do it. It's like a full-time job. And I physically, emotionally, energetically, I don't have it in me. So last year is the first year that I am going to tell you what my tip number 1 is and what I did. Stop dieting for once and for all. I started practicing things called, moderation and more mindfulness. Then I found a program that I became certified in that gave me extra tools with names to it. So I can actually help my clients with names, because we all anchor better when we have names to things. And it's what I use in my Femme Food Freedom program. But I vowed that I'll never diet again. There's a difference. I want you to know, it's not that I'm sitting out in the kitchen eating everything. However, 2 things had changed when I stopped dieting. Number 1, 3 things actually. Number 1, I started being very mindful about every time I wanted to eat and what I wanted to eat and how it was going to make me feel and all the things. And after I ate, how I felt, I really tuned into my body. Number 2, moderation. Nothing is off limits. Nothing. I can have anything I want. Because as soon as you tell yourself you can't have something, we all know we want it even more. And that happened to me multiple times in my bodybuilding. I tried keto. All I wanted were carbs. Every time I did back in the day, probably 8 years ago, I did carb cycling. It worked wonderfully, but all I did was obsess about those days where I could have my carbs back. Same with bodybuilding. I obsessed about the higher carb days. There's something about carbs and serotonin and making us feel good, right? Number 3, I stopped shaming and guilting myself for having those foods that in the past I couldn't have. That's the trifecta right there. Being mindful in my body as I'm eating, in the conscious choices I'm making around food, not mindlessly eating. Eating in moderation, having those foods I still love, but not having them all the time. But I don't want them all the time because I can have them whenever I want. And number 3, when I do have the foods that I really want, it's a very conscious decision. And I am no longer here for the guilt and shame that I used to put myself through. I used to go to bed feeling so guilty I had a cookie. All right. Negative emotions like that take such a physical toll on our bodies and our stress levels. I don't have that anymore. I don't feel guilty anymore. Not at all. So this is actually, if you're interested, it's something that I do teach in the Femme Food Freedom Program. I'm currently only taking on one-on-one clients. I'm not doing the group program right now. Okay. Just private message me if you're interested. Number 2, what I started to do. I started adopting what I call micro shifts in both my nutrition and my exercise. If you have followed my journey, at least from last year, you've known I've tweaked things every week, sometimes every day, depending on how I was feeling as far as exercise and my nutrition. Okay. And I have to say, not having to overhaul your entire life on a Monday is so refreshing. It is so nice not to be running to the grocery store with yet another meal plan from yet another person, diet guru, who's going to tell you you're going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days if you just eat this meal plan for the next month. But then what? Right? Like, this is what I was finding. Like, I even can teach my clients strategies, and I do, because I want long-term success once I teach you the foundational concepts of moderation and mindfulness, and taking that guilt and shame out. But like, what happens is when you get someone's meal plan or, calorie count or macro breakdown, like, you don't have the freedom to do it without them. You have no idea. Not only that, there's a lack of support and accountability there. So when you're done with that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days with that coach, you're like, okay, now what? Like, what am I shooting for? And that was the other thing with competing. Like, I had a reason to deprive myself so bad, because I was getting up on stage with an itty bitty suit. And I remember after both of those shows, I'm like, what's my goal? Now, what is my goal for keeping the weight off? You know what? Now I just want to feel, I'm 50. I want to feel energized. I want to feel strong. I want to feel good in my body. I don't want to feel achy. I don't want to feel bloated. I want my jeans to fit well, right? Fun fact, I actually went, and you could probably resonate with this. How many of you love what are we in February right now? Almost March. Love bathing suit shopping at this time, especially if you're in the cold climate where we have snow. I'm pale white and you're putting on bathing suits, right? Not only that, you're putting them on with your underwear, right? Like, I have to say, I went to Hollister yesterday, which tends to be not a kid's store, but a store that I don't generally shop, but they had cute bikinis. I wear bikinis because I love my body. And I have to say, in the past, I remember over and over, and I have to say, since I've started practicing moderation and mindfulness with my nutrition, I've not gone bathing suit shopping. Actually, I really haven't gone shopping for clothes. I tried the bathing suits on, and I was like, I actually look good. I actually feel like I look good. I want to cry. Am I the skinniest thing ever? Or do I look like I'm going to ready to go up on stage? No, absolutely not. But do I feel comfortable in my body? Do I feel sexy? Do I feel like I have curves and I'm loving them? Absolutely. First time probably ever, except when I was 150 pounds stepping on stage, in which you couldn't even hardly pinch anything on my body, Did I feel comfortable? Guys, I have been 10, 15, 20 pounds lighter than I am now and still felt like I did not look good in a bathing suit when I tried it on in the store. I can't explain yesterday. Again, I have a lot, in my opinion, to yet lose, and it's okay. Like, I'm going to probably take who knows how long to do it because I'm not dieting. I'm loving my body to get the weight off. And I haven't shared that anywhere else. I thought about sharing it online and I was like, I just wanted to share it with you guys. Okay. There's something that happens in our brain when we start getting out of that dieting mentality. And I start just making these little shifts. And again, it depends on the week, how often I do these micro shifts. Okay. It's a really good week, low stress, getting lots of sleep. I might do a few more micro shifts, a few things that are moving me towards my goal. If I'm having a stressful week and I'm not sleeping well, and I'm sick like a couple weeks ago, we don't do any micro shifts. We try to stick with our routines. We don't introduce anything new. Try it out. See how, and that leads me to number 3. Okay. Because I was going to say, don't expect an overnight fix. And number 3, what I stopped doing, and let me allude back to that story I told you where I could literally lose 5 pounds in days in the past. That, my friends, is a quick fix. There comes a time in our life that we have to stop looking for those quick fixes. We are such a society of convenience and wanting it yesterday, not now, wanted it yesterday. As soon as you start getting in your mind, like, I didn't gain this extra weight overnight. It took me a couple of years of eating really good food. I'm not going to lose it overnight. And if I want to do it sustainably and keep my head in it and not have to forego all of the celebrations and the parties and all the things, it's not going to happen overnight. And all those programs that claim it's going to happen overnight, they're just depriving you. I'm just going to say they're killing you with cardio and they're not letting you eat. And sure, you'll lose the weight, but your body at around 3-4 weeks time frame is going to start thinking you're killing it and you're going to stop. Doesn't work. Certainly doesn't work for women my age. Okay. So as soon as you stop looking for those quick fixes and you're looking for a lifestyle rather than a fix, that is when the change is going to occur. And this has all happened to me. And I'm only sharing, I literally wrote these 4 things down because I said, what are the 4 things that I have done that got me here today, that keep me smiling every day, that keep me looking forward to eating every meal that I eat. I never feel deprived, but there's days that, like, some days I don't eat until noon. I'm not necessarily in my mind intermittent fasting. I do try to get a 12-hour fast in there, but I'm just not hungry. And there's other days, especially coming around my cycle, I am hungry at 9:00 and I'll have my chocolate peanut butter mug cake that I've been showing everybody on Instagram. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, come follow me at Dr.Renee Wallenstein because I've been doing daily tips of the day as well. So number 4, last tip, I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to believe in yourself. The one thing that's going to get in your way of weight loss, if that's truly what you want, is you. Okay. I want you to set a goal. So say you have 100 pounds to lose. If you set a 100-pound weight loss goal right now out of the gate, it's going to take time, right? What's that going to do up here? Why don't we do 1 pound at a time, or maybe 5 pounds this month? Let's make a goal of having maybe 5 pounds. And I don't want to scale. I have a scale that doesn't work, and I don't care because I know how my clothes fit. That for me now, I am not a number on the scale. I am how my clothes are fitting. That number on the scale tortured me for years. It tortured me through my bodybuilding process. I fretted the scale. It does not control me anymore. Sorry. Okay. So maybe you get on it once a week just to see. And there's other things that go into weight, my friends. There's other things. You cannot say that is just fat loss. Okay. There's hormones, there's fluid, there's salt in foods. There's did you go out? There's so many factors. Okay. However, you can look at the trend to see if it's going down. It's fine. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to tell by how your clothes fit. So maybe in the beginning, you don't even step on the scale. You just go based on how your clothes are fitting. If they're starting to fit looser, chances are you're losing weight. Maybe you'll want to wait a couple weeks. Okay. But set a realistic goal. Not 100 pounds, let's 5 pounds. Okay. Maybe it's even less. Maybe it's 2 pounds this month. That is still something. I want you to believe that you can achieve that goal. As soon as you do not believe that you can do it, you're right. You're not going to do it. You're going to get in your mind and you're going to self-sabotage, and then you're going to prove yourself right. You believe 100 pounds, I'll never be able to do that. That's what you're saying up here, right? Thursday comes, you're feeling deprived because you're dieting again, which I told you not to do. And you start eating a box of cookies. What do you do then? You probably guilt and shame yourself, like I don't want you to do either, but you do because you don't have someone like me working with you. And then you proved yourself right that you can't do it because you ate the damn box of cookies, right? And then you don't lose the weight. And then you failed another diet. And again, I'm speaking to if you have tried multiple diets in the past and gained the weight back, okay? But this is me. I'm just coming from experience. And maybe you've not done a lot of diets, maybe just done a couple, but I see the same cycle and it happened with me and I see it with clients I work with. So set a realistic goal. Maybe it's just 2 pounds at a time. Believe that you can achieve that goal. Believe that you can achieve anything. Okay. So I'm 6'1". I can't set a realistic goal of 120 pounds. That's just not like, I would be anorexic. Like I would just be skin and bones. That is not a realistic weight for me. Okay. So for me, I know what my realistic weight is. And if you don't know what that realistic weight is, start a little bit higher. And once you reach that goal, and if it's not where you want to be, then lower the bar some more. Okay. So set a realistic goal, believe that you can achieve that goal, feel that you are in control. And this is the biggest thing when we diet, we are not in control. When you are getting that meal plan from somebody else, when you can't have the freaking piece of toast that you want during your period or a piece of chocolate, you do not feel like you're in control. One of the biggest motivation busters. And that's what I'm going through here. This is all what helps you become more motivated. Believing in yourself, setting realistic goals, believing that you can achieve those goals, and having support. And the fifth thing I'm going to actually circle back besides having support. And sometimes that looks like support at home. And I have a lot of women I work with that do not have that support at home. So I am their support, or we have communities, but tapping into your why, because there are going to be times when you're like, oh, like the pants still don't feel looser. I feel like I've been so quote unquote good all week. And again, if you're not dieting and you're just making little tweaks here and there, I doubt you're going to have this thought in your head, but maybe it's the 5th day that you want to binge on a pint of ice cream or whatever. And you're like, oh, I can't do this. Go back to your why. Why do we even want to lose weight? Why? It's not going to make you happier. I'm telling you right now, if you are looking to lose weight just because you think it's going to make you happy, it's not. Go find something else that's going to make you happy. And doing the other things going to make you happy might help you lose weight and then get your weight loss. Okay. Do not chase weight loss because you think it's going to make you happy. Chase weight loss if you are doing it to be healthier, have more energy, improve your libido, lower your stress level. It's just maybe you're going to exercise some more and eat better because it's going to help your energy, was going to help you cope with stress better, right? Go deeper, my friends. Go deeper as to your why, because that's the only thing some days that you're going to be able to hang your hat on to stay in the game. Okay. So we covered 4 things today. Stop dieting for once and for all. Start making micro shifts. And again, those micro shifts, you're going to make more in a week that you're having a good week and less and just trying to maintain what you're doing in weeks that it's not so good. It's not all going to be good. Number 3, stop looking for those quick fixes. Start looking at making lifestyle changes for your health. I don't know about you guys, but I just heard about Dave Hollis, the guy was like 47, almost 48, heart heart issue. This man changed his life. He turned his life around. He died. Okay. Like it's just, and I'm seeing this all over, and I don't know if it's a sign, but I'm seeing it all over, like people like just like another girl, just like with cancer, like no symptoms, did a screening test, like do these changes for you, not for a number on the scale. And set a goal that you feel comfortable. Maybe it's a smaller goal over the month. Believe you can achieve that goal. Tap into your why. Why are you doing it? Who's going to help you? Who are you going to turn to for support in those harder days? And feel like you are in control of the situation and of what you're eating. Okay. All right. I hope this helped. We're going to conclude, hopefully on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about a few considerations for weight loss as we get older, specifically talking about perimenopause, menopause. That will be a little more strategic, but those actually would stack on top of what I gave you today. I don't care the age of a woman, I would still start with these 4 tips. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Once we get those foundational things down, we can build freaking skyscraper. Okay. All right. I hope this helped. Sorry, I didn't give you warning. I was coming live. And I'll see you back Wednesday as we conclude this Weight Loss 101 mini series. And then we'll have to figure out what we're doing in March. All right. I hope this helped. Any questions, concerns, what have you, drop them below. And if you're interested in Femme Food Freedom Program, message me. Okay. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Real Heal and that you learned something new. And before you go, can you do me a quick favor? Take a screenshot right now and share it to Instagram and tag me so I can celebrate you for taking action and improving your health. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a minute to leave me a rating and a quick review. This will help others just like you find the show. And do not forget to subscribe because you will not want to miss out on any of the amazing guest experts that I have coming up very soon. And remember, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. Do one thing today that makes you happy and learn to love life again. And with that, I'm out of here. Talk to you again soon.